What's up YouTube? Graylan Stewart here with another video. So in this video, we're going to talk about how to renegotiate deals. Now I don't like to renegotiate, but occasionally we have to. And in this case, I'm going to show you a live call. It's actually 3 different calls to where I actually had to renegotiate a deal 2 times, okay? Now keep in mind, I just own the wholesaling business. I have acquisition managers, disposition manager, transaction coordinator. So I have people in place to do all these things. However, I'll go look at a house on occasion if I'm in town, because we do virtually wholesale out of town, rather than pay somebody boots on the ground, $50, $75, $100. If I'm able to, I could do that myself. So we're going to listen to this first call, but let me tell you a little bit of backstory about this property. Okay, so this property is in a very least desirable area, I guess is the best way to put it. Most investors won't buy there. The ones that do buy there, they want to buy it cheap. Okay, so my acquisition manager is named Ashley. She didn't necessarily know that information. So she did lock up this contract, and this was back in July of 2020, okay? Well, I think she got it like in June, the very end of June 2020. So we get this deal in a very non-desirable area, and we estimate, I think she estimated the property was worth maybe $75,000, okay? It's supposedly a rent-ready brick house, good to go. So she ended up locking the deal up for, it was a weird number because we always do kind of off the wall numbers whenever we're negotiating, as opposed to just saying, 50,000, it might be 51,283, or something like that. So anyway, she got the deal at around $38,500 and some dollars. I don't know for sure, but it was a little over 38,000. Okay. So we send it out, our disposition sends it out to our buyers list and just shopping it around. We were thinking we could get maybe in the low 50s, high 40s. So we sent it out there and crickets, no interest at all. A couple of people acted like they're interested, but really got nowhere. So after that, we 3 or 4 days later, we actually sent it back out again for somewhere, I think, in the mid 40s range, or maybe even low 40s, just to see if we can get this thing sold. Because again, we got it at about 38 something K. So we were hoping, okay, maybe we can make $5,000 on it. So we sent it out probably low 40s to mid 40s, okay? And it was the same thing, not getting anywhere on it. So keep in mind, in wholesaling, the goal is to perform on the property and get it done as quick as possible, okay? So we typically lock it up long enough, but we want to get this deal done in 3 or 4 weeks, if at all possible. And in all cases, that's what we try to do. So no buyers were responding at all. Couldn't get the deal done with anyone. So I actually go back to the seller to talk about a renegotiation. Now he doesn't agree to it on this recording, but he did call me back, and for whatever reason it didn't record. He did call me back and accept. Okay. So listen to this recording now, and you'll see the first step of renegotiation. Listen now.
Hello.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Graylan. I'm Ashley's partner.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Pretty good. Stuck at work, but I'm doing good.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, I wanted to talk to you about your property. So we actually own the property just west of you, those 4 houses on that kind of acre and a half right there. You know what I'm talking about?
Right on the corner where all the trash and stuff is?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It got trashed
Did y'all
out
just buy that?
Yeah, we did. So we'll
Gotcha.
be cleaning that up pretty soon. But so the problem is, though, your house, it is a mobile home, I guess, and I wasn't even aware of that originally. I know that you bricked it, which is great. Definitely looks better. But the problem is, so every time we buy a house, obviously we renovate them and either rent them or flip them, right? We're keeping those houses to rent, so we'll probably end up keeping yours as a rental as well. So what we do with them after we're finished, and yours is pretty much mostly done,
I mean, I did drive by it when we were over there recently. I actually knocked on your door. Nobody was home. But, I mean, it needs some minor repairs on the outside, but not real bad. We've never seen the inside after your video. Yeah, I've only seen what you have on video as far as inside goes. But anyway, so once we finish a property, then we go put a loan on it, just so we can leverage our money and buy more, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so the problem is they just don't loan very much on mobile homes, whether they're bricked or not, whether they're on land or whatever else. So I'm kind of worried because they're saying that the property is not worth what we're paying because it's a mobile home.
So you're not going to be able to buy it?
Well, we're definitely still interested. I'm just wanting to talk to you a little bit about it just to see if you'd be willing to come down on your price a little bit more. Or are you stuck with where you're at? Do you need to be where you're at?
Pretty much honestly, need to be where I'm.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of looking at, we would probably need to be in the 25 range, to be honest, to really make it work. And I'm not trying to call you with bad news or be a jerk, and I apologize for all that, but I'm just telling you the facts of what they're telling us.
Wish you'd have called me sooner so I could be calling around getting other estimates, because
I know we just found out because they looked at yours whenever they're looking at those other four, and they're like, even those four properties, they're only valuing that at like $80,000 for all four of those houses on that property. I know two of them are like boarded up, but the other two are not bad at all. But yeah, just let me know what your thoughts are on that.
Could you do 30?
I mean, I think 25 is pushing it, but we might be able to squeeze it up a little bit. Let me, I'll have to crunch numbers again to see if that's possible or not, but possibly. I'm not saying no.
Alrighty.
How long do you have for break? I might be able to get to you before you get back, or have to go back, or maybe call you after you get off or something.
Yeah, I got your number now. I get off at 2:00. You can call me then.
Okay, I'll just plan on that. I'll try to dig in a little deeper and just see what the best we can do on it is, and I'll holler back around 2.
All right, thank you.
You good? All right, thanks, Joe.
Bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
All right, so hopefully that video, or that recording rather, was helpful because you got to see how I renegotiated. It's always a sticky subject, and you got to tread lightly and just watch what you're saying and be careful. But he did call me back. He did agree, from going from 38.5 something, and we got it for 28,000 is what I ended up agreeing to. So I actually did the renegotiation myself because Ashley is very uncomfortable with it. She definitely has to learn that because that is the acquisition manager's job to get the deals and renegotiate them as well. However, I took this as a learning opportunity for her. So by doing it myself and sharing the recording with her, she can learn a little bit from it. So anyway, he did accept at 28,000. So we're now sending this out to our buyers list. I think we're just trying to get like maybe 35 or something. So we send it out there. We got very little interest again, but there definitely is interest this time, as opposed to our second time we blasted it out was, in the low to mid 40s. So this time we're asking around 35. So no super interest, but there is interest. So we have people go out and take a look and check it out. So we did get one offer. Okay, this one offer was 30,000, and it was basically take it or leave it. That's all we got. Pretty much. So we're like, well, we're trying to keep our deal flow integrity up to where we're averaging 10,000 or more on a deal. At the same time, we're not trying to beat up a seller over things like that. But $2,000, that barely covers our marketing costs. And when you factor in the cost of transactions, dispositions, and the acquisition fee and all those things, we would actually lose money at $2,000 because again, our only offer was $30,000. We got the deal renegotiated to 28. So now what do we do? It's not really a deal for us. 2,000, actually will cost us probably money. So we can't do that, right? So I actually sit down with my acquisitions and my dispositions manager to renegotiate the deal for the second time. Okay. So he was already kind of mad the first time, right? Because we just dropped it more than $10,000 on him, and it was early on because we got the deal beginning of July, and this was, just a few days later, 4 or 5 days later, that I renegotiated that first time. But the second time, after we tried this for a couple of weeks, it just wasn't happening. The seller is very antsy. They're ready to move to their next property, which they're already renting in the town that they were moving to. But they needed the money for a down payment on their next house. Okay, so I renegotiated again because I had no choice. Right? It's either we're going to make this a win-win for everybody, or everybody's going to lose. Okay, that's kind of how I look at it. Either we all win and just not win like we thought we would have, but still win, or we just flat all lose. The seller would have lost because he wouldn't have had a buyer at all suddenly. We would have lost because taking that renegotiated price with $2,000, profit, which isn't all profit, that's gross profit. It wouldn't be a win either. So we all would have lost. So anyways, I renegotiated the second time. So let's listen at this. He was definitely angry this time. There's a lot of cussing, so we're beeping out those words, obviously. But you will see kind of how the flow of the conversation goes. So listen to the second recording now.
Hello.
Hey, Joe.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Graylan. How you doing?
Good. Give me 1 second. Let me get out of the shop right fast.
All right, cool.
In somewhere I can actually hear you. Noise.
Where do you work?
Tinker Air Force Base.
Oh, okay.
Sheet metal mechanic.
Nice. So you
All right, I can.
It's a long drive.
Yeah, it's a 45-minute drive, but it's 3.5 acres of quietness.
Oh, cool. Well, that's cool. Well, hey, I was trying to call you because, you're probably not going to like the news that I have, to be honest. So that's why I'm calling you as soon as we found out. So I told you when we buy houses, right, we buy them with cash, but we also refinance out of them later through our banks. And the bank, we finally got in it, a couple of days ago after you left the key for me and all that. They're just not going to give us the money back on it. They just said it's not worth it. Even the county assessor is showing it's worth like $5,900. You know what I mean?
The land alone's worth what you're going to pay. What I was wanting. The land alone is worth that.
I hear you, but the problem is,
so you're not going to buy it.
We can't buy it at that price, to be honest. And I know you don't want to go really lower because we already dropped it on you. So I'm not asking you to do that.
Well, that just our brand new house.
You're already in the house, aren't you?
No, we're in a rent house.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, we were going to use the money from this house as a down on our new house.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, I wish I had better news, but they're just telling me, like, it's not worth it, even if it's, because we'd be buying it just for land, is what they're saying, that the house isn't worth anything at all, is basically what they're telling us. Because I told you we got the 4 houses next door. We paid $30,000 for all of those.
Well, those are houses.
Yeah, but 2 of them are rent ready. The 2 of them are boarded up. But that was even a stretch to get them to agree to $30,000 to refi.
I guess. Thanks for your time. Now I got to.
Well, how much do you need for that on your down payment? I mean, because we are still interested. We just can't do anything close to what we talked about.
We need $25 for our down payment.
You do?
Yes.
Dang. Well,
the lowest I was willing to go was $25.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I can do. I have a lot of investor friends that I can show it to. That maybe I can find someone that's willing to do that. If you give me a day or two.
What's the lowest you'll be willing? Well, what's the highest you'd be willing to go? So I can talk to my wife.
I mean, we would have to be under 20, to be honest, to even consider it at this point. Because the bank, they pretty much, they would give us 10, and we're willing to do some out of the pocket without refining all of it. But if they're saying the thing is worth, $6,000 basically with the land, we're just looking at it at this point as a cash flow opportunity only to rent it. because the value is not there. We're just be doing it on a cash flow basis only instead of as far as total value, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I just think it's stupid. Went from 38,535 down to 28 now, bailing out 4 days before buying it.
I know, that's why I wanted to tell you before. I
4 days,
closing
really?
table, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I get to break this to my wife and listen to her cry all night long.
I hope she doesn't do that. I mean, we just
she'll be bawling her.
a couple days ago. That's the problem.
She'll be bawling her head off. What is the absolute top dollar you can give us for it? And I'll talk to her about it.
To be honest, probably 15 is probably the very most we could ever get to, because we really need to be under 10 at this point.
All right. I'll talk to her and I'll get back with you tomorrow. God
Okay,
damn
sounds
it.
good.
All right, so you heard the second recording. He definitely wasn't happy, right? Obviously, a lot of cuss words, a lot of hesitation, a lot of like, what in the world did I get myself into type of thing. And like I said, we don't like to do this, renegotiating, but unfortunately, it's just part of the business. Sometimes you have to do it. And as I said, this was definitely a learning and training opportunity for me with my transaction coordinators, or rather my acquisition manager and my dispo manager, just so they can kind of learn how that goes, because ultimately that's the acquisition's job to get that done. Okay. So you can see how the conversation went. He didn't give me an answer, but he actually did call me back, like I think within 5 or 10 minutes. So listen to this quick recording real quick.
This is Joe Bivens again. We will take your $15,000 offer. If you would, call me back as soon as you can, or I'll call you after work. Thanks. Bye.
All right. So as you can see, he actually did accept my offer of $15,000, which is great news. Okay. Because I already know that I have this buyer at 30, so we can actually make a decent profit on this deal. And obviously we got the deal done. We got it closed within like a few days after that. So the seller, he wasn't as happy as he was initially, but he was still happy because at least he had $15,000 to put down on his next property. Obviously we got a decent deal, so we made profit on it to where we could pay everybody in the company and still have profit for the company left over as well. And then our end buyer, obviously got a good deal at $30,000. He did have to put more into it than initially thought because it wasn't rent ready. It probably needed around $10,000 or so worth of work that needed to be done. So he actually had a good property that he could remodel and make a profit on too. So the moral of the story is sometimes you have to unleash the REI beast, right? We don't like to do it, but sometimes it's necessary. So honing up on your renegotiating skills and just your sales skills in general, as far as reading people, your tonality, listening to them, and getting the whole feel of conversations is vitally important, because if it wasn't for renegotiating that a second time, we all would have lost on the deal. But as it was, we made a $15,000 profit, and the seller was happy as well. So hopefully this video helped you. Please subscribe, like the video, give me a thumbs up, comment below, if you like the content, or if you thought it was crazy, or whatever you want to say. It's okay, I'm good with it. I've got thick skin. So comment, like, share, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot.